This regularly scheduled meeting of the Harlingen City Commission, which has been duly posted to order at this time. And to begin, I'd like to ask Commissioner Ruben De La Rosa to lead us in an invocation.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for all the greatness. I ask you to guide our city leaders and decisions that will benefit our city, and every citizen attending today's meeting. Lord, we ask you to protect our city, our police officers, firefighters, employees, and anyone with any interest in Harlingen. Keep us all out of harm's way. I ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting tonight, and I'd like to begin by continuing our tradition of singing happy birthday to any commissioner who happens to be unlucky enough to actually have his birthday fall on a city commission day. So Commissioner Ruben De La Rosa, it's his birthday today, so everybody join me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ruben. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. I'd like to welcome everybody again to our meeting tonight. I'm going to move to one item of important business so that we can let some folks get on the road back home, and that's going to be to go to item 6, to discuss and approve an ordinance authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of City of Harlingen, Texas Combination Tax and Revenue Certificates of Obligation, Taxable Series 2016, securing the payment thereof by authorizing the levy of an annual ad valorem tax, approving and authorizing the execution of all instruments and proceeds related thereto, including a paying agent registrar agreement, approving the form of an official statement, and declaring effective date. Okay.
Mayor, members of the Commission, City Manager, this project is one that's been in the making for quite some time. I'd like to just provide a bit of history. On April 16th, of this year, the City Commission approved the One Vision, One Harlingen Comprehensive Plan. This project was identified in that plan as a priority. Then on June 24th, the City Commission prioritized this project as priority number 1. So, which brings us to this point today. Now, one of the things that happened is our financial advisor and our bond counsel sent us some instructions to make sure that we did before today. One was to review the official statement, which we did, and provided comments back to them. And the other was to publish the notice of intent to issue COs, which we did comply with. With that, I think Ann Berger from First Southwest is going to be the first to address you, so turn over to her.
Ann, welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, Mr. Serna. It's a pleasure to be back before you again this evening. Before I begin the presentation, I would like to take just a moment and introduce Noel Valdez with McCall, Parkhurst, and Horton, who is bond counsel for the city, and he can certainly answer any questions related to the legal documents if they arise. Before we begin talking about the specific transaction, one of our processes in a plan of finance is to secure an updated of the municipal bond ratings that the city has. We just wanted to highlight that Fitch reaffirmed their AA+, and we thought that it was important to note some of the comments that they made, that you have above average revenue growth prospects, strong gap closing capacity, and moderate fixed costs. They talked about, from a revenue framework, you have historical revenue growth that's been strong. It's exceeded the pace of national economic expansion. And I thought that was a really great insight and comment to come from them. And as we've talked about before, when they are rating the city of Harlingen, they're not just comparing you to other cities in the valley or other cities in the state of Texas. They're comparing you to these type of credits, AA+ rated credits across the country. And I thought that that was one of the comments from the report that was, thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. That was very illuminating. They talked about your growth prospects appear positive. And we find a lot of times that the rating agencies are very constrained in what they can and cannot say, and to have that kind of a comment in a rating report that investors are looking at, again, that's a real compliment to the city and to your staff for getting that type of comment. Again, they talked about independent revenue raising capacity is high because your property tax rate remains well below the state's limits. They talked about, from an expenditure perspective, that your expenditures are in line with revenue growth, and they see that they're going to continue to remain affordable and are not expected to shift materially due to modest borrowing costs. And they define, when they look nationally, that your debt levels are moderate. Standard & Poor's reaffirmed their AA- rating. They talked about strong management with financial policies and practices based on their FMA methodology, strong budgetary performance. They highlighted that you have very strong liquidity and very strong budget flexibility. Again, I believe all of these comments are a real compliment to the city of Harlingen as they are looking at you, again, benchmarking you across the country with your peers, and wanted to take a moment because this is what investors are looking at when they make the decision to invest in Harlingen, and because this is a taxable bond issue. The city of Harlingen has done a lot of tax-exempt bond issues, but this is really the first of a major size in quite a while that you've done a taxable bond issue. So you're looking at an entirely different investor base. The transaction summary. The transaction that we have a bid for your consideration this evening has a par amount of $12,885,000. We have a true interest cost, and remember these are taxable rates, 4.022. We have just slightly over a 14-year average life. And on this particular sheet, we show you have debt service coverage of 1.17 times. And what we find a lot of times with taxable bond issues, investors really want what's called a make-whole call, and we don't allow those, or I don't like to do those at all for my clients because in my mind that's really a non-callable bond. So we made sure that we embedded a 10-year call in this to give the city flexibility in the future. You can see our coupons range from a 115 down to a 429 in our out year, and I will talk a little bit more about the cash flows and the coverage in just on the next slide. As we know, this is a certificate of obligation, but we have been working with the city to bring in two sources of revenue that really will be utilized to pay this debt service. 50% of the 4B sales tax, and then also a calculation related to the hotel occupancy tax. I'll talk about both of those more specifically in just a moment, but what we do show on the right-hand side is when we aggregate those revenues and we look at the debt service, you have on average about a 117 debt service coverage. Certificates of obligation do not require a debt service coverage rate, but what we did is we decided to utilize that as the instrument for the debt market because one, you would get a higher rating, which means a lower interest cost. If we were doing a revenue bond issue, you would have to have coverage well over 125, which would have impacted your capacity, and you would have had to have a reserve fund. So by doing this, we've been able to give you a stronger credit, but we've built in debt service coverage to allow for flexibility and cushion in different interest rate environments and economic environments. On the 4B sales tax, you can see after you pay your debt service based on these projections and assuming a no growth scenario, you will have just under $100,000 a year for coverage. And then on the hotel occupancy tax, that number is about $58,000 a year afterwards. And what we have done in all of our modeling is we are utilizing only 50% of the projected hotel occupancy tax that are associated with it. Again, just to highlight real quickly the sources and uses, you're utilizing multiple sources of funds to help pay for this. We've got the $12,885,000 bond proceeds on the left. We show part of the 4B unallocated budget and TERS cash flows and fund balances that will be utilized as well. And so finally, just in summary, I wanted to suggest that we do recommend that the city approve the bid from the underwriters, who are Raymond James and Frost Bank. We thought they did an excellent job in what has been a little bit of a choppy market. We were able to go out at rates that we thought were appropriate this morning, and because we had some positive tone in the market, they were able to come back and actually lower the interest rates, and so the numbers that we have for you are better than what we started with this morning. They utilize Norton Rose Fulbright as their underwriters counsel. We want to make sure we thank Noel and McCall for their efforts related to this. This was not your standard certificate of obligation bond issue, and there was a lot of work with the documents. And then finally, before I open it up for any questions you may have, as always, I just want to say thank you. We are very appreciative of having the opportunity to work with the city of Harlingen and on this project, and we appreciate the long-term relationship that we've had.
When do these price?
They priced today, and so.
At what time of the day?
They priced, we were in the market from about 9:30 till 11.
Because bonds yesterday were pleasant, today they were spectacular.
Yes, sir, so we were able, that's why at the end of the order period, the underwriter was able to come back and we negotiated with them to lower the yields in most of the maturities.
And the yield was lower too?
Yes, sir.
To
So I think
what?
we started off this morning at a 408, and in reality, we were able to get that lower to about a 402.
Okay, and then since these are taxable bonds, is this considered under the Build America Bond Program, or is that, we don't qualify for that?
No, sir, this particular project does not qualify for that, so these are just straight taxable bonds. But as you have noted, the Build America bonds really help to bring taxable investors into the municipal markets. So although we still don't have that vehicle, a lot of those investors have continued to invest in municipal obligations that are taxable.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Ann? I think,
Great job.
great job.
Great job.
And we'll ask Rick to read the caption.
Ordinance authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of, and I don't know the figure there, Ann. 12,880.
Yes, sir, that figure is $12,885,000.
Ordinance authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of $12,885,000 in aggregate principal amount. City of Harlingen, Texas, combination tax and revenue certificate of obligation, taxable series 2016, securing the payment thereof by authorizing the levy of an annual ad valorem tax, approving and authorizing the execution of all instruments and procedures related thereto, including the paying agent registrar agreement, approving the form of an official statement and declaring an effective date.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is another big milestone in the move in our progression to build a convention center with the hotel investment by the developer. And so funding now is in place for the construction and the development of the convention center. So congratulate everybody on the team, city commission, city staff, Noel and Ann for doing such a great job and getting this thing done for us and getting it at a good rate, an excellent rate for the city of Harlingen. So congratulations, everybody. Good job. All right. I think they want me to sign it. All right. I'm going to, they want to walk out of here with signed documents, right?
We're getting them.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right,
Thank you,
thank you. We're going to go back to the regular agenda now and go to item 3, because I'm sorry, I've been waiting for this one all day, and I want to make sure we get the Yankees recognized. Who was it?
I suggested it.
Come on, so come help me with the proclamation. So if you're an all-star National Yankee for Harlingen or their coach, you have to go and stand up here.
Like the reindeer on my roof.
hardware of you guys.
Lots of bling.
They've got bling.
So we want you all to kind of face the audience, so come on over here to lined up to get these medals. All right, we're gonna read them. Now, this is gonna take a long time, so pay really close attention, because it's all about you guys. Whereas the All-Star National Yankees from Harlingen, Texas, 6U T-ball team made their run for the 2016 Pony World Series. Unprofessionally trained and coached by 4 parent volunteers, Jacob Romero, Adrian De La Rosa, Jesse De La Cruz, and Saul Martinez, all from Harlingen, Texas, who have given their time, patience, skill, and talents coaching and preparing the Yankees for competition in the 2016 Pony World Series that took place in Youngsville, Louisiana, July 27th to 30th. And whereas these youngsters played with passion, working together not only as a team, but as a family, despite having odds against them, and did not take quitting as an option. Whereas within the 2016 regular and all-star season, they earned the following titles: Harlingen National Baseball undefeated Shetland champions, 2-time first place invitational champions, undefeated first place regional and sectional champions, first National Pony State Conference champions, 2016 Pony Shetland Texas State champions, and 2016 Pony World Series runner-up. And how am I doing? Whereas the Yankees finished the 2016 Pony season 78 wins and 3 losses and own all 4 titles, sectional, regional, conference, and state titles, second time in Harlingen history. Whereas they fought to bring back the World Series title to the Rio Grande Valley, but came up short in the World Series championship game by 2 runs, losing to Aledo Black 14-12 out of Dallas. They're a privately trained team. Whereas the Yankees represented the city of Harlingen with integrity, class, and humbleness, having brought the Pony Shetland state title back to Harlingen. Whereas the Yankees earned a spot in the World Series tournament by defeating the Normoil Rattlers out of San Antonio 30-24 and winning the Texas state title, became the second team in Harlingen history to accomplish this in the Shetland division. Representing Harlingen and the Rio Grande Valley, the Yankees took the National Conference title and became the 2016 Texas Pony State champions. Whereas we realize that participation in organized athletics helps build character, teaches wholesome sense of good sportsmanship among our youth to excel in any one sport. A young person must demonstrate a great deal of natural ability, an outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, hard work, and a striking example of this is the achievement of the All-Star National Yankees. And now, therefore, I, Chris Boswell, Mayor of the City of Harlingen, do hereby proclaim All-Star National Yankees Day in the City of Harlingen and congratulate the coaches, parents, and especially the Yankees, and urge all citizens to recognize the work and dedication of these outstanding athletes and extend our best wishes for their continued success. Congratulations. Read your names off. When I read your name off. And number 3, Dylan Saldana. Number 4, Diego De La Cruz. Number 6, Jaden Cortez. Number 7, Sean Martinez. Number 8, Thomas Maxwell. 19, Nolan Muniz. Number 20, Nathaniel Muniz. 21, Brandon De La Rosa. Number 22, Hector Garza.
Yeah.
Eli Romero. Number 65, Jeremiah Davis. Number 90, Randy Garcia.
Yeah.
All right. I recognized the coaches earlier, and we really do want to recognize the coaches for all the hard work and dedication. We know that it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to teach you guys how to hit that ball and catch that ball. And we want to especially recognize all these parents of these guys. It takes a lot of effort and dedication and commitment to travel all over the state and all over the nation to get these guys where they were. And we appreciate you representing the city of Harlingen so well. And we're very, very, very proud of you. So on behalf of the whole commission, we're just delighted and really happy for you. Congratulations. You did a great job.
Okay, guys.
Make sure everyone.
Everybody hung up. Look at the camera.
Parents, if you want to. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. 1, 2, 3.
That's awesome. I should have more kids. That's great. It really is awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Peter Pan grin.
That was great.
Okay, so item 1 is board recognition. So we've got some folks recognize. So we have some incoming board members. I want to ask you to come forward. Daniel Lopez, Community Development Advisory Board. That's one of our great, really important boards that does so much good work in the community. So Daniel, thank you for agreeing to serve on that board. David Day, Construction Board of Adjustments. David's no stranger to this type of work. Thank you for using your engineering skills to help us on that board. Brianna Vela Garcia, Brianna, we want to congratulate you for serving on our Harlingen Crowd Advisory Board and coming onto that board. That's one of our special boards too. And then Elma Munoz is going to serve us on our Library Advisory Board. Elma, congratulations. So we want to present these certificates to you and thank you for your agreement to serve the community of Harlingen. Congratulations. And then item 2 is a special recognition. So we'd like to ask our city attorney, Rick B.O.D. and his
Happy
family
birthday.
to come. Cindy, and you got some other, you have a brother here, 2 brothers, some other family members here. If you're related to Rick, come on up here. Well, as well known, Rick Gilby, who served our city as our city attorney and on our city attorney staff since 2007 for almost 10 years, is retiring here at the end of the month, which means this is your last regular meetings. I think we're not going to have another regular meeting this month.
Don't get so excited. Don't get so excited.
Everybody wanted to recognize you for your service to the city and really express our deep appreciation for the professional, just the absolute professionalism that you brought to this position. I've seen, yeah, it's a hard job to be, it is. It's a hard job to be the attorney for a bunch of guys that get elected. I've gotten to be the attorney for a bunch of guys. It's a hard job because depending on who's been elected, it hadn't been so hard with these guys. These guys have been pretty good. These guys have been really good. But had all the and so you always conducted yourself with such great professionalism, given us great legal advice, always steered us in the right path, made sure to keep us out of trouble, and just so many things that go into this job that nobody really understands or knows about. But we want to thank you for the way that you've done that, and we want to recognize, and you should recognize, your wife, because, you know,
Yeah.
we don't, you know,
Without her,
nothing happens.
none of this would be possible.
That's true for all of us, so we want to recognize you and Cindy and thank you for your years of service to the city of Harlingen. So this plaque reads in recognition and sincere appreciation for your dedicated years of service to the office of the city attorney, 2007-2017, a time to look back with admiration and a time to look forward with anticipation. Congratulations and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you very much. Her sister Patty Seiler and my brother-in-law John Seiler, the infamous John Seiler. Mayor, thank you very much, and members of the commission. I have thoroughly enjoyed this work that I've done here for the last 10 years. It's had its different aspects, as the mayor pointed out, which we won't go into here, but it's really been enjoyable, and I've loved working with all of you and enjoyed this opportunity. Thank you to the citizens and especially to the staff that I've had to work with. It's been very good.
All right. Thank you. Not done yet. You have a meeting.
You got work to do. Jeez. You could have waited.
I can't believe it. Good.
We can call the special meeting in reverse.
Item 4 is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of October 19th and the joint special meeting of the Harlingen City Commission and Harlingen Community Improvement Board of July 18th, 2016. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Consent agenda, item 5A, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Ask a
carries.
question real quick.
Motion carries, yes.
On item 1 on the ordinance, it says, board members shall be appointed from the following sectors. 2 persons who are owners of a hotel or motel in the city or who work in a local hotel or motel. Then item B says 1 person who is the owner of a restaurant in the city or who works in a local restaurant in a managerial capacity. The in a managerial capacity was not included in A. It just says who works in a motel or hotel. It doesn't say
Good
that.
point.
And then item C, it says 1 person who is the owner or manager in a retail capacity. And I don't know if that means owner or manager in a retail establishment, or would be a better word than capacity.
Establishment, right?
If we could fix those, I think that's, everything else is great.
We can make those changes, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I work with the legal
Okay,
department.
well, let's file, I guess technically we should motion to reconsider.
Probably,
Is there a motion to reconsider
This is supposed to be
item
the second
5A?
reading.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was trying to move quickly so just say motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider item 5A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So back to 5A. So with those, you want to make those changes to the ordinance?
Yes.
That you just mentioned. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance on second reading with changes that you described?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Any other changes? Going once, going twice? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item 6, discuss and approve an ordinance authorized. Got that one done. Item 7, public hearing to consider an ordinance on first reading for a specific use permit to allow bar, lounge, and general retail in GR district located at 323 West Jackson, bearing the legal description of blocks 1 through 5, block 61, Harlingen, original town site, applicants Raymond Reyes Jr.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. The applicant is requesting a specific use permit to allow a bar lounge out of the existing 2,900 square foot building that's located on the corner of C and Jackson Avenue. This is the subject property here, and this is a street view of the subject property. The previous use of this establishment was known as the Elite Gentlemen's Club. Prior to that, it was known as the Foxy Lady Saloon. The applicant is proposing to change this use where it will just be a bar lounge only. The hours of operation would be from Wednesday through Sunday from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. The applicant is currently processing the TBC beer and wine license, late hours beer and wine license. This is an aerial view of the property. You can see the closest bar is about 80 feet away from it, which complies with the ordinance and the surrounding areas developing residential use. The Building, Fire, Health, and Police Department have reviewed and approved the request. Staff and P&Z Commission are recommending approval subject to the permit being limited to 1 year. 2, the applicant have to provide a licensed security guard during peak hours of operation, provide adequate lighting, provide surveillance video with a 30-day retention of the video, and of course compliance with the appropriate city departments. We did notify the property owners with a 200-foot radius. We sent out 23 notices, and staff received no objections to the request. I'll take any questions on the item. The applicant is present for questions.
Joel, I noticed that it appears that the establishment has been in operation since 1986.
Right, correct.
And they didn't require an SUP then, and so we're kind of going back and fixing it.
Well, he's changing the use of the property to just be a bar lounge. It was previously a...
He's making it's a better situation, isn't it?
Correct, because before it was a sexual-oriented business, and now it's going to be just a bar lounge.
Right.
So
I'm wondering why we're making them come back in a year.
He just applied for it right now, and of course, the change in use does require a specific use permit because the one before was a non-conforming use.
Actually, you know me, I like to do the 6 month and 1 year. I have to agree with what you're saying. He's been there for a long time. Everything's been really, really good. But he is changing the mode, and he's going to go to 2 o'clock rather than his. What was the hours before? If you don't mind.
We had actually, when we opened in '86, we had always operated to 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, the current, right now, because you're under a new deal.
Right now, we're actually have the license to sell till midnight.
That's what I
After
thought.
midnight, we go BYOB. And then when you go BYOB, technically you can stay open like till 7 in the morning. I don't want to do that. I want to go back to selling till 2 a.m. and then shutting down.
But right now, your permit through the city, you have to close at a certain hour, do you not?
No,
No?
no.
What?
Well, he doesn't have his permit, he doesn't have a late hours permit to sell.
He does not have a late hours permit.
He didn't need one, right,
He never,
originally.
he didn't even, he never got one from the city, at least, that we show a video record of.
Okay.
Well, I was just trying, I just figured he'd been in business for
But, and
21
just
years.
to answer your question also, per the downtown regulations, the initial permit cannot be for more than 1 year, so that's why we're asking for 1 year.
Correct.
And you have an idea of, as far as the number, any incidents with the police or not, because I don't think that's one of our problem.
They did submit the report that there was numerous calls, but none were violent related, so that they're recommending approval of the request.
I mean, the business owners, if you read the contents of the P&Z, even Meg, who's directly behind him, said there've been no problems, but he opens at 8 o'clock at night. So it's not like he's open at 3 o'clock and you have people that are hanging around. I totally agree with it. My only concern is that we're gonna go from a midnight to a 2 o'clock. And my whole thing is that you'll have to come here in 6 months, but we're not gonna charge you again.
1
Just-
year.
Not, well, I know, but normally, when we do these in that area, I always say it's 6 months. You know, that's just the way I normally operate it because of the change. I don't have any objections if somebody wants to make a motion the way it is because of how long he's been there. I just want make sure that it's noted that he's not going to be the same type business because right now he's under a sexually oriented business and he'll go into just a regular bar
lounge
with an extended time.
Right.
And so if everybody's good with that.
But staff's recommending, correct?
Right, that's
Right.
what staff is recommending. I just want to make sure that, I normally stand where these bars, if we change the operation of the bar, we give them 6 months to make sure everybody's happy. And I don't mind backing off of that, it's just where I've always been.
I think with the years that they've been there, I think 1 year is safe.
Okay, we have to have a public hearing, item A, a public hearing, no open public hearings, want to like speak for or against the SUP.
Yolanda Shawford, 280 Altas Palmas. I am for it. He's been there 86. Really, he shouldn't even be here. He's being grandfathered in. But a remark that really bugs me in that area, targeting that area. Do we have selective prosecution here? If you're in that area, then you get different treatment than other bars, lounges. Hello, wake up and smell the Colombian coffee. I am for it.
Okay, so anyone else would like to speak for or against this SUP? Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing and ask the city attorney to read the caption.
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, Article 15, Section 111 through 413 of the City of Harlingen to issue a specific use permit to Raymond Reyes Jr. to allow a bar lounge in a general retail district located at 323 West Jackson, bearing a legal description of lots 1 through 5, Block 61, Harlingen, original town site, subject to 1, the specific use permit would be limited to 1 year. The applicant will be required to reapply after 1 year. 2, obtaining and maintaining the proper TABC permits. 3, providing surveillance video and maintaining a 30-day retention of the video. 4, providing adequate lighting on the premises. 5, providing a licensed security guard during peak hours, Thursday through Saturday from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And 6, complying with the requirements administered by the planning, building inspections, and fire prevention departments, providing for publication and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. All right, thank you, Mr. Reyes. I want to take a point of personal privilege at this time and recognize our good friend, the Honorable District Judge Migdalia Lopez, who is in the audience with us tonight. Judge, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I always enjoy it. You guys do a good job.
Item A, public hearing, to consider an ordinance on first reading for a specific use permit to allow an adult business microblading studio in a general retail GR district located at 1325 South 77 Sunshine Strip, Suite 4, bearing legal description of part of Block 1, the Kelly Park amended subdivision. The applicant is Sonia Donaldson.
Mayor Commissioners, the applicant is requesting a specific use permit to allow microblading out of an existing little over 700 square foot suite that's located in the Park Place Professional Plaza that's on the corner of 77 and South 77 Sunshine Strip. This is a subject property, and this is a street view of the subject property. The suite is actually in the northern part of the complex, and they actually have an existing business on site, which is known as it's a day spa in the area, which operates by appointment generally from Monday to Saturdays up to 6 p.m. We're proposing to expand it to the adjacent suite, which is be in this area here, to allow that microblading. Microblading is actually a form of semi-permanent makeup around the eyebrow. The state regulates that as tattooing, which is an adult business by the Code of Ordinance, which requires a specific use permit. The building, fire, health have reviewed and approved the request. Public hearing was conducted by P&Z. There was no concern addressed at the meeting. We did notify the property owners within a 200-foot radius. Received no objections. Staff and P&Z recommend approval subject to the applicant maintaining their permits and complying with maintaining the required parking, of course, compliance with the appropriate city departments. I'll take any questions on that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the term microblading, but you said it's
like a eyebrows, semi-permanent makeup around the eyebrows, according to the state.
And does one need a cosmetology license
This means
to do this?
It does, and the state regulates this more as a tattoo business, but for our Code of Ordinance, tattoo business is an adult business, which requires it.
I was just curious.
I didn't know what it was either, but it's,
Yeah.
it's right here. All right. Let's go to the public hearing then. Item A is public hearing. Open the public hearing. Would anyone like to speak for or against this SUP?
when, long time ago, they were doing, Yolanda Shop, 280, Altas Palmas, they were doing, nails, you know, and they smell a lot, the chemicals. Does this, when they do that kind of, permanent, whatever they call it, micro whatever, does it smell? Do you use, I mean, they're beauticians, they use a lot of chemicals. If it's gonna start smelling the neighborhood and the people around them, they're gonna get sick.
Anyone else would like to speak for or against this SUP? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask the city attorney to read the caption.
An ordinance amending the code ordinances, Article 50, Section 113, 111 through 413 of the City of Harlingen to issue a specific use permit to Sonia Donaldson to allow an adult business, a microblading studio in a general retail district located at 1325 South 77 Sunshine Strip, Suite 4, bearing a legal description of part of Block 1, Kelby Park amended subdivision, subject to 1, maintaining the required off-street parking spaces, 2, obtaining and maintaining the proper state permits, and 3, complying with the requirements administered by the planning, building inspections, environmental health, fire prevention, and police departments, providing for publication and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 9, public hearing to consider an ordinance on first reading to rezone from not designated N district to residential single-family R1 district for 30 acres out of Block 6, Stewart Place subdivision survey, 139-298, 19.69 acres out of Block E, Blocks 2 and 3, Stewart Place subdivision survey, 139, 7.5 acres out of Block D, re-subdivision of lots 2 and 3, Stewart Place subdivision survey, 139, 2.5 acres out of Block D, re-subdivision of lots 1 and 2, Stewart Place subdivision, survey 139, 5.0 acres out of Block 3, Stewart Place subdivision, survey 139, 5.0 acres out of Block 3, Stewart Place subdivision, survey 139, 10 acres out of Block A, 16.48 acres out of Block B, and 5 acres out of Block C of Blocks 2 and 3, Stewart Place subdivision, survey 139.654 acre out of Tract A, 30 acres out of Blocks A and B, and the 130 acres out of Tract B, LL Adams subdivision, survey 140. All properties generally located south of Wilson Road, Minneapolis, Palmas Road, and Beckham Road. Applicant is the City of Harlingen.
Mayor Commissioners, this is a city initiative rezoning to rezone the properties and not designated properties which are part of the Harlingen Emerging West District in our comprehensive plan. This actually represents the 7th city initiative rezoning which staff has presented. Generally, the boundaries of these properties are south of Wilson Road between Altas Palmas and Beckham Road. Staff's proposing to rezone these properties to residential single family. This is a street view of the property. You're coming down Beckham Road heading north. You see this property is currently vacant, and of course you have the residential use further north. This is a little bit further north of Beckham Road, north of Perkins Road. You have residential use. The next property, you do have some livestock on the property. Coming back west on Perkins Road, again, you see all the residential use. Further west, more residential use, and then this is the corner of Altas Palmas Road and Perkins Road, again, residential use. And then further north, getting closer to Wilson Road, you have residential use, and then this is looking at from the north of Wilson Road. It's currently vacant and agriculture use. Generally, what we're proposing is generally consistent with existing land use in the area. This is an area of use. You can see most of the residential use is along Perkins Road, and the rest is pretty much vacant in agriculture use. You do have some livestock and these 2 of the properties in this area here, maybe 3. And of course, the future land use shows this as low density residential for most of it, so it is consistent with the future land use plan. Public hearing was conducted by the Planning and Zoning Commission. There's no concerns addressed. We did send out 92 notices to the property owners in that area. We received 3 property owners who had a concern with the request. 2 of them came after the P&Z Commission meeting. Generally, I highlighted the properties. This is the first one. This one was submitted prior to the P&Z Commission. He has 2 acres, and he thought there was no zoning laws in the area. He wants to make the property commercial, but there was a house on the property, and it's currently registered with the Appraisal District as a residential property. The second property is this one in a teal color. There's 10 acres, actually 8 acres, and he has livestock on the property. He submitted a letter, which I'll copy the letter. Basically, on the letter, he states that he'd like it for it to remain not designated because he has livestock on the property, and under our current code of ordinances, livestock is permitted on a property that's not designated and 5 acres. So if his property were to be rezoned to a residential single family, he couldn't bring any more new livestock. So that was his concern. The third one is this property here, which is about 60 acres, and there is a single family residence on the property. He would like to leave it as the way it is. It's not designated because he'd like to market it or sell it in the future. Although he doesn't have any plans right now to sell it in the future as a multifamily, so he thinks that might affect this property. Staff is recommending approval, as is the P&Z Commission. I'll take any questions.
The property in teal has cattle on it.
It does have cattle on it. It's about 8 acres, so it would be affected.
If we rezone this to residential, he can keep the cattle?
He can keep the cattle.
But he cannot get any more?
Right, correct.
What if a cow has birth?
He can only keep it until weaning age, and once they get that age, they got to be removed from the property.
How long has that resident been there?
It's been there for a couple of years. I don't know the exact date.
It's been
many years.
And this
So is it the
doesn't-
number of cattle that he can keep? So if there are 20 there, he can keep
No,
20?
you can't have it.
Or if two of them die, he's down to 18?
Right, correct.
Okay,
Or if he's-
my concern for this is that, as I look at this, I understand why we've done it in other areas, but there's so much agricultural land here. I mean, how is it gonna affect them? Things can change, and all of a sudden, they wanna put multi-family dwellings in there, like apartments.
Right.
I have a hard time with this one.
See, like this one right here, which is 60 acres, he has a house on his property, so it's technically a legal conforming use because the house is permitted in a not designated property
Correct.
that's 5 acres or greater, which that one is.
I'm sorry, how many acres did you say it was?
This one's 60, a total of about 60 acres.
So you got 60 plus the 8 plus the 2, right?
Right.
Almost approximately 70 acres.
Right.
of people
Well, not only
protest.
that, but he's just showing you where the objections
Right.
were. We're gonna take it all the way up to the red line, which is Wilson Road.
Right.
And
Right.
so basically, we're gonna take all that agriculture, because if you look at his slides, they're growing sorghum on that top,
Understood.
on that north corner, right there. And so, concern that I would have is, all of a sudden, I understand why we've done it in other areas. I think this may be an area that we need to pass at this point because of the ag use.
That property did contact the city, and he just had some questions about it, but he didn't report any
Okay,
objections to it.
if we turn this to residential, can he grow sorghum or other crops?
Yes, he can continue the same use.
It's only livestock.
Right, only livestock's affected.
I have difficulty with interfering with a person's
Livelihood.
ability to make an income, a lifestyle, and protein for themselves and others. I have difficulty with that. If you could put an exemption, I'd be happy.
Of course, this one, the property owner didn't report any objection. His attorney also.
I mean,
called
for
and-
the
Livestock.
livestock.
Right, livestock.
Mayor, do we have a public hearing before we can decide what to do with this? Or can we do something with it before we get to the public hearing? I mean, I would like to just tell them that, I would like to make the motion that we do not do this.
Yeah.
And ask staff to go back and look at this a little closer
Well,
and
you could
figure out.
table, you want to table it? You want to tell,
Yeah, what do we table?
you want to tell, express your concerns to the staff and then table the balance of
That's a
it?
better idea, yes, sir.
Is there,
I'll second that.
don't we have a history of allowing someone that has the livestock situation for them to continue doing what they're doing, whatever business it is, as long as they own the property?
We do, of course, so long as the property is greater than 5 acres, but any other property, let's say there's some properties that are 2 acres that have livestock, technically per the code of ordinance, they cannot add any more.
Well, doesn't that
whether
guy
we
have
approve it,
10?
rezone it or not.
He's got 8, so he's got more than
Yeah,
5.
if he got 8, so if his is not included, he can be removed from the request, and then it won't affect him.
Yeah,
by
but it
that.
affects the whole area.
In my area, because, I mean, I'm real familiar because this is my district, I have neighbors who have horses, and over time, we've annexed some of these areas. And so I have one in particular that expressed his concern was that he can no longer move his horses. I mean, if his horses leave for an extended period of time, they're considered, he's moved them. And so, I just have a real
Everyone that does.
concern with
have
it, so
a-
I'd rather discuss it with
Mayor, we have a
staff.
motion, and I second his
Right.
motion.
To table.
To table.
I didn't hear the motion.
I made the motion to table.
Yes, and I second it.
Okay, well then there's no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's tabled. All right. Item 10 is to consider taking action to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept grant funding in the amount of $9,861.75 from the Texas Department of Transportation, acting on behalf of the Office of the Governor.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. The Harlingen Police Department has recommended approval of a TxDot grant under the, it's a good law enforcement campaign that is done throughout the holiday periods this upcoming year. Of course, like you said, the amount is for $9,861.75. The city will be obligated in the amount of $2,504.87, and that will be through regular duties. But this is a duty law enforcement program, and staff has recommended approval.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. All right, thank you very much. Item 11, public hearing and presentation regarding the fiscal year 15-16 consolidated annual performance evaluation report. Tammy.
Good evening. As a recipient of the federal funds, we have to do a consolidated report on what our accomplishments were for the year. So I've given you just a summary. We will have a public hearing, and there's no action required. He left without telling me to do that. There we go. So our mission is essentially to assist in the creation of viable communities, especially those that are low to moderate income within our community. All of our funding has to go to residents of Harlingen that are low to moderate income. As I do each year, I give you a summary of where the funding used to be and where it is currently. So it is anticipated that we will receive an increase within the next coming year, so we can only hope for that, especially on the home side. Our annual allocation is about $216,000. If you're constructing affordable housing, that doesn't give you a whole lot to construct the housing. At the end of last year, we had an unexpended balance of $882,106.38 that we received our 15-16 CDBG grant only. We received, during this last year, $60,438.27 in program income through the housing rehab program and payments that were paid, for a subtotal of just over $1.7 million. We did expend $914,369.61, so as of 9/30, our unexpended balance was $829,987.04. This is grouping our expenditures. The majority of our expenditures this year were in the home program because we severed our relationship with our affordable housing provider. The city stepped in and built the homes. Unfortunately, for us, it created more work because we generated about $310,000 in program income that has to be spent also. So, and that has to be spent first before our entitlement money, and there's a timeline. So if we don't spend it all, we could lose a portion of our entitlement money. So we've been really proactive in trying to spend that. We also created the street improvements, the park improvements. During the past year, $346,000 approximately dollars was spent for the street improvements on Velvet Oaks and Shirley and Vincent on the north end of town, which benefited approximately 1,300 low to moderate income residents residing within the area. We were able to partner with the Parks Department and provide the exercise equipment at Rangerville Park. And finally, finished the Lunsa Hill swimming pool renovations, which benefited about 2,280 persons. We also provide funding to the effort to get rid of the structures that are a haven for illegal activity with the National Guard program. We typically would provide for the dumping and the tipping fees that are associated with that. And so we expended $18,773.99 on that activity. Through our housing rehab program, of course, if the home requires more than $25,000 in rehab, we will demolish it in its place and reconstruct a structure. This is one of the homes. This is on B Street. where we demolished the home. The top one's on B Street, and the bottom one is on Monroe, over by where the old orange juice factory. This is just to give you a little bit of snapshot of the rehab program itself, where we rehab the inside and exterior. You can't tell, but in the corner at the bottom, there was a door that was the cabinets covering it, and so we went ahead and reconfigured the kitchen so that it would be safe and there wouldn't be a door just there. So we were able to provide assistance to 2 owner-occupied activities for the reconstruction program. Both had a disabled household member, and we utilized revolving funds and treasury funds, so it was approximately $116,000 that we spent on the housing rehab program. We also provide assistance to public services, of course, the Boys and Girls Club, and Amigos de Valle. This program provides meals for those that are homebound so that they can stay in their home and they get a safe meal. And a lot of times that's the only interaction they have, someone going to check on their welfare during the day. Sunshine Haven, we were able to provide services to 20 terminally ill residents of Harlingen. Of course, those residents, although the services are provided elsewhere, they are Harlingen residents. The Family Crisis Center, we were able to serve 137 children residing at the Family Crisis Center, and 345 girls were provided with assistance to the Girl Scouts. In addition to what we have expended, approximately $1.1 million was leveraged in providing just the public service agencies, because we only provide a portion of the funding to provide the services. Regarding the home program, as I mentioned, we constructed the homes, and so when the homes were sold to an eligible home buyer, the funds came back to us, anything that wasn't expended. So that's how we generated the $310,000 in home program. So the sales price on this home on A Street was $115,000. They went to the local lender, they got the $85,000 loan. And then the owner has to come in with their $2,500 approximately. And then the down payment closing cost assistance that the city provided was for $32,600. And there is an affordability period that's required to be met. This is the other home that we built on Jackson Street, and they too went out and got the majority of their loan through a local lender. And then we provided about $20,000 in down payment assistance. And Park Lane. So the 4 homes constructed, we sold 2 during the reporting period, 1 was closed afterwards. And it was a total of $310,633.45 that was generated in program income from the sale of the homes. The unexpended balances, the majority of them are housing rehab. We've been unable to fill the position of the housing rehab inspector. However, we just executed a contract with Community Development Corporation of Brownsville, and they're going to undertake the housing rehab program. So they're going to go out and do the inspections, write the specifications, and monitor the contractor. So that we should see those funds expended rather quickly. And also with the home program, the majority of the funds, because of the amount of program income that we received. And that's it. And I would just like to say that we wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't with the assistance of our engineering department, the parks department, the code enforcement department, purchasing and finance. We all work together to get it done. And also the wonderful Community Development Advisory Board, and I have several members that are here.
Does anybody have any questions for Tammy?
Tammy, the home funds are drawn down basically by the difference between the cost of the house and the amount that's financed, the down payment. Is that what a lot of that goes to for that buyer program?
For this funding cycle, because the city was a contractor, so we actually constructed the homes, paid the contractor, so we would take the draw from the federal funds to pay the contractor. Then when the home's sold, it goes back in as program income to be used on another home.
Right, less the down payment.
Correct, the $32,000 or $20,000, whatever we need to make sure that it's affordable, that they're not paying more than 30% of their household income for their payments.
Okay, well, I want to congratulate you all once again for making dwindling funds go a very long way and doing so much good in our community. So, Tammy, congratulations to you and to the staff for this great work, and especially also to Our board, our advisory board, Lupita and Mrs. Salas, and our new board member, and Mr. Del Rosa, thank you all for your, and all of the board for the hard work that you do. I know you make difficult decisions on where this money should go and make these recommendations, and we appreciate all the, I know it's a labor of love for y'all, because a lot of you have been doing it for a long time, and you feel like it's important for our community, and so thank you for all the effort that you put into it. All right, we're going to go next to item 12, which is consider and take action to approve a resolution of the City of Harlingen in support of the Baxter Housing Partners LP, named Baxter Lofts, for proposed development for affordable rental housing in Texas, Harlingen, Texas, and authorizing such other actions necessary or convenient to carry out this resolution.
Mayor and Commissioners, this resolution is in support of the Baxter Loft Development Project, something we've been working on for several months now. This is part of the process, and staff is recommending approval.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 3, consider take action to approve and adopt a resolution to appoint a member to serve on the Cameron Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Our current city representative to the Cameron Appraisal District Board his term is about to expire, so we need to appoint someone or reappoint him or appoint someone new to the board. So staff wanted to bring this up. His term expires at the end of December.
And David would like to continue serving.
The current board member is David Ardenberg.
Right.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
I would like to make the motion that we reappoint David Argenbright to the CAD, Cameron Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 14, consider take action to change or postpone the date of the Harlingen City Commission regular meeting of December 21st, 2016 due to the Christmas holiday.
We talked about this at our last meeting, and I am recommending that we postpone the meeting of the 21st. We don't have any pending items for that meeting, and that we can't move up to January 4th. So I would recommend that we postpone it. That is my recommendation.
Do we need to remove it from the table?
Well, it has
Did
to
we
be removed.
table it? Yeah, we did. So we need the motion to remove.
Make a motion that we remove the regular meeting of November 21st to discuss the movement of our commissioner meeting to January.
Okay,
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. So now that it's off the table, then is there a motion to postpone it?
So moved.
Second.
Cancel it.
Cancel.
Motion to cancel the meeting?
Motion to cancel the meeting?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
It's really big of the city commission to give you a week off, so during Christmas week, but Merry Christmas. All right, item 15, consider and take action to consent to the execution of revised employment agreement between the Development Corporation of Harlingen, Inc. and Rodell Garza as the manager or chief executive officer.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Just wanted to come up as part of the Economic Development Board to let you know that we approved and recommended the renewal of the employment contract with Rodell Garza. And it was a unanimous decision. I wanted to come up and basically let you know how we felt. And I think some of you were out working.
Is there a motion to approve the revised employment agreement?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. And welcome, Lupita Gutierrez Garza. I'm glad to have you here at our meeting. Thank you for being here. Item 16, are there any board appointments?
Yes. I'd like to appoint Michael Murphy to the Harlingen Water Works or the Utility Board of Trustees.
Any other appointments?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve board appointments?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, item 17 is an executive closed session pursuant to Chapter 551, Subchapter D, VTCA, Texas Government Code, Sections 551.087 and 551.071, to discuss commercial, financial, and economic information and incentives regarding business prospects known as Project Liberty and Project Lodging 2, with which the City of Harlingen and the Economic Development Corporation are conducting economic development negotiations, and to possibly seek legal advice from the city attorney regarding said matters. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then we're in executive session. Ladies and gentlemen, the city commission is going to move into the conference room so that we can talk to our lawyer and discuss economic development projects. There is an action item at 18. There may be action after the executive session. Okay, we're out of executive session at 6:54. And we're going to go to item 18, which is to consider and take action to enter into a Chapter 380 Economic Development Agreement with the business prospect known as Project Lodging 2.
Mayor, City Commissioners.
Rondell.
Just a brief background on the 380 agreement. There's a hotel developer that was looking at a piece of property along the expressway and found a right piece for his hotel development. Except there was one little problem there, and that was a right-of-way that's worth about $4,800. Was kind of in the middle of that property, and it wasn't connected to anything. So this hotel developer has asked us to basically give them that right-of-way so that they can build an $8.5 million, 95-room hotel on top of that property. This hotel developer is very experienced. They have built many different lodging facilities throughout the country, and they're looking at starting in mid-2017, by probably April, May of next year, be completed by the end of 2018, just in time so that anybody who's going to be watching the SpaceX launches can stay in Harlingen and then travel to the island on the weekends. They're going to create jobs, 10 full-time employment plus plenty of part-time, 10 to 15 part-time employees. And they're located within the medical district area, so it really doesn't compete against other hotels that are being supported right now throughout the city. But competition's good, and there's more hotels to come because Harlingen continues to grow. And for a $4,800 investment, the city's getting in return an $8.5 million investment.
The property tax the first year will be 10 times that.
Correct. So what we're asking for is approval on the 380 agreement. And the hotel, I'll just let somebody else announce it.
Okay. We have
I'd make
is there a motion to approve?
A second.
So moved.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. That's a no caller ID. All right. Well, congratulations and thank you all. I think this is a good, great project for our city and other some more lodging and first class developer. Very nice capital investment for our community. So
Tell us who it is.
He's not here. He left?
Oh, well.
I know, but
For the record,
you might listen to
for the
you might
record,
listen
the
to
hotel developer is Cube Hotel Group. They're out of Dallas area, Carrollton to be specific, but some of the partners are down here in the valley. And the hotel is a Fairfield Inn by Marriott.
Awesome.
Great. That concludes item 18.
Mayor, motion we adjourn?
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Meeting's adjourned.
I signed up.